Hey, what's up guys? So for today's video, I'm going to be going over these DIY coasters. These are something that you can make with a few simple supplies. I'll run through in this video how you can do them yourself. You can use them for pretty much any drinks and they're dishwasher safe. I'll go through that now and then I'll show you the last little step at the end of the video. Before I get to that, I want to go over my 2018 list of books that I would like to add to my collection. So this is this year's list. It's not a huge list, but nothing's too crazy. Actually, my number 10 is the only crazy book I have on here. I'll go through them right now. The first one is Year 10 Death One Shot, cover E. I have one of these books. When I made this list, I didn't have the book, and then the book just came in the mail. So I already checked off the first one. This is another Paul Green book from Salt Lake Comic-Con. So I got that one added to my list already. As you guys seen from some of my past videos, I got a pretty decent amount of Paul Green's work, and this is one of my favorite covers. So that one's already, number one's already checked off. So I don't even know if I should count that in 2018's list because it's not even 18 yet. So anyways, number 2 is Death of Wolverine number 1. That's a book. I have number 2, 3, and 4. I just don't have this number 1 yet. Number 3, it's Cry for Dawn number 1. That's the first appearance of Dawn. It's not a huge key book, but I like Dawn as a character, so that's a book that I like to add to my collection. Number 4 is Campbell's Renew Your Vows number 1, Volume 1, and number 1, Volume 2. Those are 2 books that I don't have for my Campbell collection yet. Number 6 is Tomb of Dracula number 10. It's the first appearance of Blade. I'm probably looking for that one in like a 9.2-ish area, maybe a little bit better. Number 7, X-Men number 4. That's the first appearance of the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I'm probably looking for that one in like the mid-grade range. Number 8, it's DC Ghost number 6, 7, 8, 13, 15, and then 20 through 25. Those are the ones I just need to fill in that run. I think I have like 1 through 100 minus those issues. And then also in those DC Ghost, I'm looking for those issues in near mint. I could probably settle for some very fines. Number 9, Amazing Spider-Man number 14. It's the first appearance of the Green Goblin. I've never owned one of those books. It's been on my want list for several years, and I've just never found one that I wanted. And then when I have seen them, I just wasn't really interested in them, but I'm thinking I'm gonna get on that now that Green Goblin's cooled off a lot. And then number 10 is Tales of Suspense 39. First appearance of Tony Stark, Iron Man. I may not jump on an Iron Man book right now. Iron Man has been hot since 2008. The book's worth more than it ever has been before. I don't see Iron Man dropping off to a point where I can get into a better deal for a higher grade book. So I might just have to get it now. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. That's a maybe or maybe not. I'm gonna go through the list of materials real quick. The materials that I use are some denatured alcohol for cleaning the surface, some Mod Podge. For this video, I'm going to be using the Dishwasher Safe Gloss. And the reason I'm using this one is that after I put the coaster together, if you use regular Mod Podge and you put your glass on the coaster, when it's wet, it could leave a ring because Mod Podge isn't normally like a sealant. It's just pretty much a glue. But the Dishwasher Safe one has an additive in it that seals it, and as well as adhering. And you could use regular Mod Podge, but you just want to use some kind of sealer, you know, Krylon, clear coat or something like that after you're done. You probably want to put on 2 or 3 coats or something like that. So I don't recommend using that because it's extra steps that you don't need to make, and it would wind up costing you more money doing it that way anyways. I think this is like $1 or $2 more for this one instead of the regular Mod Podge. But on top of that, we need an X-Acto knife. I got 2 different ones. Whatever you want to use, it just has to be a sharp X-Acto knife, relatively new blade. You want something to put the glue on with. I'm just going to use this cheap brush. And then you want some kind of buttons. You can use corks or whatever that just go on the back of it. So, and then I also have an extra pair of scissors, an extra paper towel, and then a surface to cut on. And last but not least, you need your reference material. I'm going to be cutting a page out of my J. Scott Campbell's Lineology book, or Lineology. Just flip through it, you find something that you like. So I already cut out a page. I like the Magneto. I like the Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man. That would look kind of cool going up the side. I like the Captain America. He's got a ton of options. So let me drop you guys down so you can see what I'm doing here. Put you over to the side. Also, I have a piece of wax paper so I don't get glued down on my cutting mat. But another way you could do this is you could take the 3 coasters, or the 4 coasters, because it comes in a 4-pack, and you can put one over what you think you want. So let's just say I was going to do diagonal of Spider-Man and Mary Jane, and then you lay out 3 of the coasters on 3 sides, and then slide this one till all 4 corners match up. And that's about what I'm going to have. So I can see, let me point you guys around here. You can see what I'm going to have. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the best. I think I could cut the Wolverine out and have a black background. I just cut Wolverine out. And I think that'd be a pretty cool coaster on a black background. Let's go for that. That's what we're going to shoot for. Alright, so this is a pretty good position. You guys will pretty much be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna lay it out to get my Wolverine cut out. I'm gonna go for that right there. So I'm gonna cut Wolverine out using the X-Acto knife. Alright, so I cut Wolverine out. Without trying to take out as many of the other characters as possible, just in case I want to use some of these other characters for future. Next thing you want to do is prep the surface. So back you guys out a little bit, grab some piece of this and the natured alcohol, and then I'm gonna go with the rougher of the 2 sides and just wipe it down. So the main thing you're doing here is getting off any oils, fingerprints, dyes, stuff like that left over from the factory. You can see a little bit of black coming off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the whole surface of this with the Mod Podge. So to prep up the Mod Podge, slide that over. I'm gonna roll the Mod Podge on the table, kind of mixes it up without getting a lot of air bubbles. I'm gonna get my, set the X-Acto knives aside, get my wax paper. The majority of the time spent was cutting this guy out. So another thing you want to keep in mind is when you're putting this on, you want to have a little bit of space between the edge, like see how his cowl isn't overhanging, like maybe a 1/16 where it overhangs. You can see I left a little bit of black available at the top, and then his cowl isn't hanging over the edge. What would happen is if it was hanging over and the glue didn't dry, that little piece could get caught. I have a little bit more to drag down. Yeah, that little piece could get caught and just eventually just rip into the Mod Podge. So you want to leave roughly a 1/16 all the way around. The more the merrier. What I want to do is I want to glue the back side of the paper. And I want to put a nice thin coat. I don't want to build it up too heavy. And it's okay if you get a little bit on the front, because later on you're going to be putting more Mod Podge all over the top also. So it's really hard to be making mistakes at this point. So have fun with it pretty much. That's what I'll say. I'm going to roll it so I don't get any air bubbles back behind that thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let that sit. The first coat, make sure it's all pushed down. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do some more painting. Let's let that dry up and I'll see you guys in an hour. Okay, I'm back. So now, got the Mod Podge. Just got through shaking it up again for the next coat. put one more coat in 2 hours. Alright, so now you guys saw how I made them. Once the Mod Podge is all dry, it's all dry, then you can go for the last step. This probably could use a couple more coats because I have like a relatively hard edge. I think I only put one coat on this. This one I wound up putting 2 coats on, so the edge is a little bit more flush, and the more coats you put on, the smoother the finish will start getting. But the last step for these coasters is you can get these little buttons at the hardware store. They're like little desk buttons or just little bumpers. I recommend cleaning the back of the surface off again with some denatured alcohol, and then you'll have like a nice surface to stick to. And then you just add 4 of these buttons, one in all 4 corners. This isn't a necessary step because the coasters work without it, and I use them without it, but it's just a little something extra you can do, and it keeps it, you know, on a solid surface. Keeps it from sliding around. So see over here, I got the one with the buttons. Oh. See, I got the one that's got the bumpers, doesn't move, and then I got the one with the metal, slides around. So it's a neat little trick to just keep it from drink getting kicked off the table or whatever. But all right, guys, well, thank you for watching. This is some unboxing stuff I got to do later on in the week, probably for next month's haul video. So thanks for watching. Have a good week, and I'll see you guys next week for tips and tricks, or maybe another collection video, who knows. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye.